this is how the New York Times is pitching it, though. This is in their write-up. They talk about how coal is a pollutant, of course. The most polluting of all fossil fuels when burned, accounts for roughly 40% of the world's industrial carbon dioxide emissions, the main driver of global warming. Then they say over the past 2 decades, the use of coal has fallen precipitously in the U.S. Like, gee, it just fell out of favor, Lee. I don't know, like people just naturally moved away from it. They say as utilities have switched to cheaper and cheaper electricity sources like natural gas, wind, and solar power. That transition has been the biggest reason for the drop in U.S. emissions since 2005. Now, you tell me you know much more about this than I do, but my understanding is the reason that there has been a lot of switching to wind and solar is because the government has been propping up those industries, notwithstanding the fact that almost nobody wants them.
Amen. And during the Obama administration, he was putting out regulations out of the Biden EPA that were intentionally trying to get rid of coal. President Trump gets elected. He comes in office. He reverses it. Supreme Court weighs in West Virginia versus EPA. They say that what the President Obama EPA did was unconstitutional. President Biden comes in and then he goes back to what Obama was trying to do by design, getting rid of these sources of energy to force America to move towards wind power. Now, what that does is it harms the economy, the people who can least afford it, Americans who are faced with the decision of whether or not to heat their home, fill up their fridge with groceries, get prescription drugs that they need. Instead of saying all of the above, they have to pick and choose. If you want to get an electric vehicle, go get an electric vehicle. But maybe for your neighbor, they don't want an electric vehicle. They want a gas-powered vehicle. One of the other consequences of this energy policy is that it's eliminating choice. In a state like New York, they would ban gas hookups on new construction statewide. We were just talking about how they wouldn't allow the safe extraction of natural gas. They won't approve all sorts of essential new pipelines to transport these sources of energy. This is all by design. President Trump comes in, and when he talks about a solution for energy, we're talking about national security, the environment, the economy, considering it all. We need to protect the environment and grow the economy. This isn't a binary choice anymore. All of the above also means choosing both protecting the environment and protecting the economy, protecting opportunity with a golden age for all of America. This is the path, I believe strongly, not the one that seeks to suffocate the economy, cutting out all these sources of energy with no substitute. The last thing I would say is that some of these Democrats are now talking about how they agree with President Trump that we should make America the AI capital of the world. Well, how the heck do you think that's possible if you keep getting rid of all of these baseload power?